Hey guys, Sean Bougie, surplusfundsriches.net. If somebody can do me a favor, use the chat section if you would. Please don't use the Q&A sections during this. But if somebody uses the chat section and just let me know you can see and hear me okay, that would be great. All messages will be private. Guys, I made them public last time, and that just completely blew it. So I'll say your name as I answer questions so that you know that I'm speaking to you. Sorry, making some last minute changes. But again, if somebody can just get on chat, please, not on Q&A, but chat, and just let me know you can hear and see me okay, that would be great. Pat says good. Elsa, see and hear you great. Brad, sounds and looks good. Channing says good. That's fantastic. So you guys are welcome to ask any and all questions at any time. Obviously, we're coming up on a sale. If you haven't been to that page, and it's surplusfundsriches.net. Pretty good sale coming up on August 1st and 2nd. We only allow our programs to be available once per month. And that's when it'll be starting at 10 a.m. Eastern on the 1st. If you have not signed in for that sale or reserved your spot, just so you know, when we sell out, we sell out. So if you reserve your spot, captures your IP, you'll be able to buy it later past it, even if we sell out. So we obviously set the numbers to account for that. Wow, getting a lot of people coming in. Just so everybody knows, Pat, Elsa, Brad, Channing, Joan, Ness, Marinda, Donna, Karen, Al, Mary, Anita, Cheryl, Christina, Sherry, Pete, Anthony, Karen. Oh, Anthony says, great to be here for the first time. Hey, good to have you, Anthony. Karen says, fired up, ready to go. That's good. And Angel, hi there. Joy, hi to all. And YC, all good. And Ruby, you made it. That's great. I'm glad that you made it. I know you're having some difficulty signing in for this. Any and all questions are fine, guys. Again, sale comes up August the 1st. We only sell. We're going to be selling 2 days this month coming up, and it'll be the 1st and the 2nd. You can get on board actually pretty cheaply if you want to get the partnership version. About 2 months ago, we changed the pricing to where you could get the partnership only version for $397. Wouldn't have to buy the full ebook. A lot of people get the full ebook just because it also, besides giving you the partnership option, it also tells you how to work surplus funds completely on your own. And that's smart, because then if you can't get them together, then no problem. Send it to us. That'll be our problem. That's how the people kind of play us a little bit, and I'm fine with that. Ken says all good. Thomas, first time here as well. Hello. Hey, Thomas. So any and all questions are welcome, guys. Looks like we've got a lot of new people in here tonight, so I will give you guys a couple of heads ups. And by the way, there'll be a replay of this on our YouTube channel, Surplus Funds Riches, all one word, just like our website, surplusfundsriches.net. I will put a link there on the replay in the comments section, where you'll be able to download that we're going to offer here. Because if you're seeing this on YouTube, you won't see a download in front of you. Those of you guys that are here live in the webinar, there should be something in front of you that says file download or something to that effect. And if you'll go ahead and click on that, it'll have an overview of what's coming up for the sale, as well as what the different programs are. I would really highly recommend you download that. Again, if you're watching this in a replay, no problem. You can instead go to the comment section. This will be up tomorrow, Friday the 25th. Go to the comment section, and there should be a link there where you can get the same download. But the easiest way to do it is surplusfundsriches.net. Click on products, put your information in. It'll drop you on the products tab and our products page. And those of you guys that are new, just so you know, the way this works, you can sign in and reserve your spot and get notifications and reminders of the sale. Another thing that's nice about that, on the products page, there's a download. Insider's Guide tells you what everything is. There's also a download on there of what's going to be for sale. If you have any questions after reading through that stuff, oh, good. Fantastic, Miranda. I'm glad you got the download. If you have any questions after that stuff, about reading it, you can come to me. I'm at 704-791-9398, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, please, Monday through Friday. Happy to answer any further questions. Please, however, go to the page first and read the downloads, because it's going to answer 90% of your questions. And that'll also allow you to ask more specific questions so we can better use our time. Another thing you'll see on that page, on the main page, surplusfundsriches.net, there's a free 1-hour training that is a very in-depth overview of what is done in this business. That is fantastic to watch. You really need to watch that if you're thinking about buying or you're on the fence. That's a great overview of all the different steps involved with surplus funds. Full hour and 5 minutes. And of course, there's even some free lists there to give you guys an idea of the kind of opportunity that's out there. But any and all questions would be great, guys. I am only on till 8:30. So if you've got a question for me, please fire away. And I'd be happy to answer that. Go back to chat. Nikki MCC says hi. Any and all questions, guys, very much appreciated. Big congrats to Pete out there. Going to have one of his best months ever this month. Paid him out on 2 deals. And then the third one is going to get paid out hopefully by the end of the month. I think it is going to be by the end of the month. A lot of other stuff coming in. I'm going to do an update board probably in about a week. The girls have been my crew. It's all woman crew, other than Jeff and me, have been on fire lately. So there's going to be quite a few to update on the board here in about hopefully a week's time. Very happy with how that's going. And of course, we've expanded it to some other states too. Rather, people have found lists in other states and turned them in. So that's been fantastic too. Karen says, where do I submit the form to you all? Karen, have you purchased the program from us? If you have, click the link in the ebook, and that'll take you to the resources page. And on there is submission information. And I believe for most of the programs, Jeff also has a fillable PDF on there to make it easier for you. Also, if you have an issue with merging any files into that on your submission that you email to us, if you go to the support tab on surplusfundsriches.net, there is actually an overview of how to do that. One of the ways you can use to do. When working with the deed flips, what is the maximum purchase price we can submit? So Donna, I don't know that we limited that. I'll let Jeff chime in here. He's the moderator. See if there is a limit on deed flip maximum purchase price we could submit. But Jeff says also there's a new poll up. That's fantastic. Malia, are there any training videos that actually show someone doing all the steps of the surplus fund? So if you bought the full one, the only thing missing, I believe, is I don't have an actual live call being made. It teaches you everything else you need. And the scripts, of course, are inclusive. The main thing, guys, with scripts, any script, is to stick with them. What people tend to do is they'll make a few calls. If you're calling yourself, you don't have to call yourself, use our National Surplus partnership version. But if you're calling yourself, stick to the script. It's what I tell people. We just hired another case manager to help us out. And what I tell people is, look, it's gonna seem like you're burning stuff at first calling people, because you're building up your confidence. We can circle back to those same people, but just understand the script does work. You just have to use it consistently, and don't start changing it because somebody said something you feel like you need to take care of an objective that hasn't even come up. That's called begging the question. That is a major mistake. You don't want to bring something up that people haven't brought up. We don't have an issue with that, especially with the fact that we're using a structured buyout. Anthony, I'm a total newbie, and I totally underestimated the new skill set coming from an IT background. Any advice, kind sir, on how to properly transition? Yes. So Anthony, and I say this to everybody, the biggest thing is what people want to do. This is a new skill set. It is going to require reading. There is a link from the ebook that goes to the resources page, and there's ancillary video training there too. But the ebook is step by step. First step, get a list. Second step, research the debt. I mean, it's all completely written out for you in the ebook. Read the ebook twice for comprehension. And here's the key. Here's the key, Anthony, to learning this new skill set the quickest. There is a file example at the end of that. Do the file example. Take the name from that. Go to the website that was shown on there that was used to research that debt. Plug in the name. Check and see how it came up. Literally, do step by step the file example, and you will get it. Okay. The people that don't do the file example have the hardest time. But if you'll do that, you'll be fine. Pat says, thank you, Brad. I'm assuming that if we encounter a reverse mortgage, we don't want to do that property. Yes. So Brad, it depends. You should be able to figure out what the balance is on that. And if the reverse mortgage company, they would have to have been in place for quite a long time. But if they actually are the ones that foreclosed, the surplus funds listed should be correct anyway. Just so you know, I know I might not be going in the right direction with that question. So you can come back to me if you'd like. There is a poll, guys. I'd love for you guys to take that. Oh, I see that there's a Q&A here from Channing. How do you decide for a foreclosure? Guys, don't use Q&A, please. Use chat. How do you decipher a foreclosure sales list? For example, it specifies a judgment. What determines this surplus based on the list of Channing? your list should show surplus funds being held. Ken, please contrast working tax sales foreclosures versus mortgage foreclosures. So depends on the system, Ken. I'm going to assume that you're talking about the National Surplus Funds Program. And with that program, I would say your major difference is in tax sales, you always have to check debt, guys. Don't ignore that. But in tax sales, usually there is an additional debt, and I'll tell you why. You still have to check. Could be a code enforcement lien in the Registry of Deeds Department recorded there. Could be a home equity line. A lot of times those are recorded and they don't foreclose in front. But in most cases, there is not additional mortgage debt against the property in tax sale. And the reason for that is when people pay a mortgage, they're paying principal, interest, taxes, property taxes, and insurance. So if it's gone to a tax sale, that mortgage company, had there been a mortgage company, would have protected their position and paid the taxes and then foreclosed on the property themselves. They would have paid it out of the escrow or would have even paid it up front to protect $400,000 mortgage on a property. Not gonna allow that to be lost over a tax sale. Not gonna allow it to be bumped out. So in taxes, there typically isn't additional debt. Other side of that, in tax sales, there's a little more competition because people know that and they don't even bother researching debt, which is a problem, trust me. But with the mortgage overages, there is a higher chance that there's additional debt against the property, but less people are working it. So it's kind of a trade-off. Other than that, we work them the exact same way. We use the same methodology. We always use attorneys. We always use a structured buyout, and haven't had a problem with that. The other major difference is it depends on who's holding it, right? Counties in judicial states, a county will hold foreclosures, mortgage foreclosures. Typically, the county or sheriff or tax department or tax assessor's office will hold in a tax foreclosure. Sorry, they'll hold that. In non-judicial states where mortgage foreclosures are not handled directly through the court, it's handled by a trustee, a mortgage trustee or attorney for the bank. Karen Sanders, yes, I have surplus funds partnership and the 50-50. That's fantastic, Karen. Let me see what else. This is a follow-up to. Where do I submit it? Yeah, it's right on the, yeah. Okay. Troy, what was the video to watch to get an overview of all the products and opportunities out there? So if you actually open it might be on the file that you can download here, but if not, go to the surplusfundsriches.net. Open the products page, and there's an insider's guide there. And we have links inside the guide for most of the programs too. I bought a partnership program in January 2025, but haven't used it. Can I still use it? Yeah, start reading it. Robin, read it twice for comprehension. Do the file example. Also click on the link, go to the resources page, and there's additional information there and also some ancillary video training. Karen, do I make copies of the submission form or just use the fillable form for each? I just use the fillable form, Karen. Jeff, she says, Donna, I believe it's 400K. This is for the deed flip, 400 or 500K, but it's posted on the deed flip resources page. It's right there on the page for you. Malia says, thank you. Brad says 60-40 stealth. Okay. Anthony says, copy that. Thank you. You're very welcome, Anthony. Elsa, if I have a $50 bonus that I did not use after the April purchase of Panning, could I use it now to purchase another program? So when we do those type of bonuses, open up your ebook, Elsa. Usually there's an expiration date. That's for folks if they're going to purchase something else fairly quickly. I cannot answer that right now because I don't have that out in front of me, but I doubt that that's still available. Brad, research has turned up an open-end mortgage with a maturity date of October of 91. There is no release recorded at the mortgage. Should I consider the loan paid off or consider toward? You got to consider it toward debt, Brad. I'm sorry, guys. Just so you know, when debt is paid off, and I found this out on a weird situation where there was there was a mortgage, kind of a deed of trust type situation from a bail bondsman. And I called and said, hey, is this still, what's the amount here? This was years ago. What's the amount still on this? And they said, we'll get back to you. And then he said, hey, the next day, literally, it's been recorded as paid off at the courthouse. Well, I asked my attorney, wow, that was really fast. Is that normal? He said, look, these companies, if it's been satisfied in a lot of states, if it's been satisfied and they don't take it off within a certain amount of time, they can get monstrous fines because it's screwing up title. It's screwing up the title work and showing an encumbrance that isn't there. So you need to assume that it's still there. I know it sounds crazy,